Rizal's hope in death had not been misplaced. His letters reached their destination in 3 months, while his millennial heirs sent messages in 3 seconds to any part of the globe. His modes of transport then were ships and river ferries, and horsepower then really came from an animal. Though times have changed, the social ills of our heroes' times remain tenaciously around. Poverty, lack of infrastructure and services for education and health, a lingering sensitivity to foreign news, and the presence still inhabit the corners of the Filipino mind. For some of our countrymen, keeping body and soul together is a daily challenge. Getting a high school or college diploma or education is a major obstacle due to the need for daily earnings. Health facilities and doctors' services are Manila or city-centric, far away from the barangays that we reside in. My esteemed colleagues, we are legislators. The Latin roots of the word convey the meaning of proposer of laws. That is our main task, to craft bills, debate, and refine them. Get them approved by the other house and seek the signature of the President to turn them into laws of the land. Thus, we are primarily legislators. We are not prosecutors. We are not judges.
Before I make the nomination, I'd like to manifest the following. That the term sharing agreement is one between Congressman Cayetano, Romualdez, Velasco, and the President. I am against any term sharing agreement. However, after 15 months, then we will have to elect a new Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I nominate a leader who understands local and national governance, one who can bridge the different branches of government, one who can ably and fearlessly lead the House of Representatives and the Philippines in the national arena. In the international arena, I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker, I nominate a gentleman from the district of Taguig Pateros, representative na ating masalihan na magpadayon sa programa na kinahanglanon ni Presidente Rudy Duterte. Daghang salamat.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move that the distinguished gentleman from the Lone District of Marinduque, the Honorable Lord Alan J. Q. Velasco, be recognized to make his nomination.
The distinguished gentleman from the Lone District of Marinduque, the Honorable Lord Alan J.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Magandang umaga sa ating mga minamahal at mga kapwa mamabata sa ating mga kasama sa Kongreso at sa bayan ng Pilipino. Naniniwala po ako na sa pagkakaisa ay makakamtan po natin ang progreso para sa bayan. Kaya karangalan po na inomina ang isang mambabatas na kilala po natin ng integridad, isang mambabatas na kilala po natin ng isang salita, isang mambabatas na alam po natin na magsusulong ng tunay na pagbabago. Kaya mga kasamahan, para po sa Speaker ng ika-18 Kongreso ng Pilipinas, ang kagalang-galang Alan Peter Cayetano. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move that the distinguished gentleman from the 1st District of Leyte, the Honorable Ferdinand Martin Q. Romualdez, be recognized to make his nomination.
The distinguished gentleman from the First District of Leyte, the Honorable Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, is recognized.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I hereby nominate Alan Alan Peter Cayetano for Speaker of the 18th Congress of the Philippines.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move that the distinguished lady from the 1st District of Iloilo Province, the Honorable Janet Garen, be recognized to make her nomination.
The lady from Iloilo is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I was privileged enough to be a colleague of a comebacking congressman who represents Manila. He can represent the 18th Congress. I respectfully nominate Congressman Benny Abante.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move that the distinguished gentleman from the Ako Bicol Party List, the Honorable Alfredo Pido Garbin, be recognized to make his nomination.
The Honorable Garbin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. I move to nominate Col. Bienvenido Benny Miranda Abante Jr. from the 6th District of Manila, a veteran legislator, a peaceful advocate, and a Episcopalizer, a bishop and a pastor. He could not only be a voice of an independent House of Representatives, but also a voice of conscience and of moral integrity. Salamat.
Mr. Presiding Officer, there being no other nominations for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, I move that the table for nominations be closed.
There is a motion to close the table for nominations for Speaker of the House of Representatives. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is carried.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move that we now proceed with the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
There is a motion to proceed to the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The election of Speaker is now in order. The Deputy Secretary General for Operations will now call the roll of members. May we request every member to state the name of the candidate he or she is voting for as Speaker of the House of Representatives upon being called.
Roll call of members voting for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives. Honorable Representatives Abante,
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'd like to thank Congressman Garing and Congressman Garbin for nominating me. But if there is a better man to be the Speaker of the House, it's no other than my good friend, my brother in Christ, Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Abaya,
Mr. Speaker, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Abellanosa,
Mr. Presiding Officer, some would want to vote for Kong Lord because he is Lord. Some would want to vote for Kong Martin because he is smart. Pero alan-alan sa pagkakaisa. This representation from the 2nd District of Cebu City says yes to Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano as Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Abu,
Honorable Cayetano.
Abueg Zaldivar,
Sir Presiding Officer, I vote for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Abunda,
Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ako.
Second District of Antipolo will vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Acosta.
Mr. Speaker, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Acosta Alba.
Nauna na po.
Acosta.
Mr. Presiding Officer, for the 3rd District of Palawan, we vote for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Adyong.
Cayetano.
Advincula.
Speaker, my vote is Benny Avante.
Agabas.
The 6th District of Pangasinan votes for the Honorable Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Agaraw.
Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Aglipay. Albano Antonio.
Yes, but just in case. Mr. Presiding Officer, the 1st District of Isabela is honored to, of course, vote, including my father, who is LPJMA party list later on because he's in a wheelchair and he has no voice. 2 votes for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Albano Rodolfo. Almario.
Mr. Speaker, as the representative of the 2nd District of Davao Oriental, I vote for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Alonte.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the representative of the Lone District of Binian votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Alvarez Franz.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Alvarez Genaro.
Mr. Speaker, I'm voting for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Alvarez Pantaleon.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for my colleague in the 11th Congress, Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Amante Matba.
Mr. Presiding Officer, my vote goes to Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Amatong.
Mr. Speaker, I vote for Congressman Abante.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The nomination is closed. Pursuant to the rules, Rule 2, the rules of Senate, there being no other candidate for the position of Senate President pro tempore, the voting shall be viva voce. Those voting for Senator Ralph Recto, please say aye. Aye. Those voting against, say nay. Senator Ralph Recto is hereby declared and proclaimed as Senate President pro tempore. So, may we ask the President pro tempore to join us real soon?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, the Senate will now elect the chairman of the Committee on Rules. To make the nomination, Mr. President, may I be recognized?
Senator Villanueva, the Assistant Majority Leader, is recognized for the nomination.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, as a former TESDA Secretary, I think most of you, if not all of you, know me very well as an advocate for matching jobs and skills. I know the one fit for the job when I see one. And when it comes to the job of the chairman of the Committee on Rules, I don't think that our criteria should be limited to just knowledge, competence, and work experience. A great deal of all those, Mr. President, and more. I believe that we need a chairman who is an inspirer. We need a chairman of the Committee on Rules who, as we poetically say, treats everybody like it's their birthday, while making sure that the Senate is in order. It may be the reason why until now, he is, Mr. President, the undefeated Mr. Co-op. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, I can find one man who will stand out in this august chamber for clearly demonstrating those out-of-the-box qualities. The son of Bukidnon, Senator Juan Miguel Mix Subiri. We need an inspirer in the Senate plenary hall so that we can always find a way to pass the much-needed laws of the land. We have seen this character exceptionally demonstrated during the last Congress when Senator Mix successfully shepherded the approval of several key pieces of legislation. It may be the reason, Mr. President, why as many as 592 Senate bills were signed into law last Congress. Mr. President, the job of a chairman of the Committee on Rules is not a better process. It's never easy to be in the middle of be in the middle as a referee. With the chairman of the Committee on Rules was the natural ability to negotiate and find the common ground among the 24 republics in the Senate. Senator Mix seems to have been born with it, Mr. President. Indeed, he has a gift of making everyone feel like it's their birthday while making sure, again, that the Senate is in order. Mr. President, as your labor chair last Congress, age discrimination is not in my vocabulary. And so, don't get me wrong, Mr. President, when I say with conviction that the 18th Congress needs a Senate Majority Leader who will bridge the gap among generations. Senator Mix is obviously not only the most baby face among us, but more importantly, he is the most energetic and he can speak the language of younger Filipino generation. I believe that we need the chairman, the Committee on Rules, who can communicate to our people the way in which this institution needs to, wants to, and does serve them. Mr. President, let me add that we need a chairman of the Committee on Rules who can show up every day based on the track record of Senator Mix for the past 15 years as a legislator. He certainly can do this job perfectly. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, I believe that Senator Mix Subiri is who we need, what the Senate needs, as chairman of the Committee on Rules of the 18th Congress. I therefore nominate Senator Juan Miguel Mix Subiri as Senate Chairman of the Committee on Rules. I so move, Mr. President.
Any other nomination?
Yes, Mr. President. To second the nomination, may we recognize the distinguished lady from Ilocos Norte, Senator Amy Marcos.
Senator Amy Marcos is recognized.
Yes, gentlemen and ladies of the Senate, it's my joy and privilege. Today, my first day here in the Senate, to nominate a dear family friend, our very own Senator Mix, a valuable colleague from the infamous 11th Congress, not merely as a spice boy, but more importantly, as an impassioned and enlightened legislator. Without doubt, the pride of Bukidnon, he represents ably and completely the long-neglected and still beleaguered island of Mindanao. Youthful merely in appearance and in energy, but sage and wise in experience. May isang munting babala lamang na wag laging sana si Senator Mix nakikipagbulungan sa ating minamahal na Senator Drilon at pinagsosuspesahan tayo. Biro lang po para sa ikagagaling ng Senado, para sa ikauunlad ng sambayanang Pilipino, nais kong itaguyod ang ating pinuno para sa Committee on Rules, ang ating minamahal na Juan Miguel Subiri, Senator Mix, for Chairman of the Committee on Rules. Thank you.
Mr. President, may we also recognize the distinguished gentleman from Zambales, Senator Richard Dick Gordon.
Senator Richard Gordon is recognized.
Mr. President, I would like to withdraw while the Senate Minority Floor Leader, conducts parage against the Majority Floor Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Minority Floor Leader. Mr. President, I would be remiss if I don't rise to nominate my good friend and fellow Red Cross volunteer, Mr. President. He is, after all, my Vice Chairman in the Red Cross, and he's done superlatively well with his passion for humanitarian pursuits, Mr. President. He's been with me in Ginsaúgon way back in the early 2000s. He's been with me in Typhoon Frank, appropriately named after the Minority Floor Leader in Iloilo, and certainly, Mr. President, in other typhoons in Albay, in Limon. And certainly, Mr. President, he has been an outstanding Majority Floor Leader. After all, he's been able to harmonize both sides of the aisle, Mr. President, to be able to convince the minority floor leader to work with him in spite of the immensity of the mind and certainly knowledge of and experience of my good friend Frank Dillon is something that is by itself an accomplishment, Mr. President. Certainly, Mr. President, not only has he harmonized both views in the aisle together to vote for very, very important legislative matters in this country, Mr. President, he's also been, Mr. President, very successful in husbanding tremendous laws such as the Cooperative Development Act, Mr. President. Certainly, the law on the ease of doing business, which is a vital cog that is missing in this country. We really have to speed up the ease of doing business in this country so that we could have more investments. Certainly, in the renewable energy law, which has made him, gotten him the moniker of Mr. Clean, Mr. Energy Clean, Mr. President. And certainly, Mr. President, foremost of all, his husbanding and certainly shepherding the Bangsamoro Organic Law, Mr. President. An outstanding achievement by itself. Mr. President, I met this young man many years ago. His parents are known to me. His father played for the other school, Mr. President, in basketball. And his mother is one of the most gentle ladies I've known, apart from the fact that she's one of the loveliest ladies in the country, Mr. President. Nakalo ko na naman yung Tigalasal, Mr. President. Now, Mr. President, I would just like to say that he has been very, very attentive, not only of his duties here, but certainly of his family. Imagine, Mr. President, you come here every day, the first to work along with the Senate President, and the last to leave, and to be able to make sure that you're able to pass legislation as well. Mr. President, Ms. Sabiri has done certainly her student efforts in trying to make sure that we get bills of an important nature to be passed here, Mr. President. So, having said that, he still has managed his time very, very well. Certainly, his wife Audrey is, like many who are...
Representative of Long District of Pasay, I vote for Peter Alan Cayetano.
Caminero.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the 2nd District of the Province of Cebu is supporting me in backing Speaker Alan Cayetano as our Speaker.
Campos.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for Alan Cayetano.
Kanama.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from COP.NATCO Party List, I vote Alan Peter Cayetano.
Kaokdan.
Cayetano.
Kari.
Mayong buntag, Mr. Presiding Officer, as the representative of the 5th District of Leyte, Alan Peter Cayetano.
Castelo.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the 2nd District of Quezon City, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Castro France.
Mr. Presiding Officer, ang kinatawang pong ito mula sa ACT Teachers Party List ay bumoboto kay Congressman Benny Abante.
Castro Fredinil.
Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Cayetano Alan Peter.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I would have voted for Paulo Duterte, but he's not a candidate. So I will vote for Bishop Brother Benny Abante.
Cayetano Maria Lavarni.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as the representative of the 2nd District of Taguig, I respectfully nominate the Congressman of the 1st District of Taguig, Pateros, Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Celeste.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of 1st District of Pangasinan, I vote for my party mate, Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Chato.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as representative of the 1st Congressional District of the province of Bohol, and as a fellow worker in the past Congresses of the distinguished gentleman from Taguig, I am fully convinced that he will be heading the 18th Congress well. I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Chipeco.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the lone district for the city of Calamba, where the national hero Gato Rizal was born. Ang bilin po sa akin ni Gato Rizal, bumoto kay Alan Peter Cayetano. So, Mr. Speaker, I vote for the distinguished gentleman for the city of Taguig, Alan Peter Cayetano.
Chungalao.
Mr. Speaker, the lone district province of Ifugao, home of the famous rice terraces, through this representation comes to Congress with an entirely different tone and tune, and therefore I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ko Angelica.
Mr. Presiding Speaker, I respectfully vote for Congressman Benny Abante.
Ko Elizalde.
Benny Abante.
Ko Wangko.
My vote is for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Colyantes.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 3rd District of Batangas, which includes the cities of Tanawan and Santo Tomas, I cast my vote for Congressman Peter Cayetano.
Crisologo.
Is recognized before we proceed. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, to borrow the term from our minority leader, may I be allowed to make a manifestation on behalf of the minority in order for the quote-unquote conspiracy for better legislation to continue between the majority and minority? Yes, you may do so. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, consistent with our democratic practices, consistent with our Senate rules, legislative practices and precedents, wherein the minority selects its own leader, on behalf of the minority, Senators Ontiveros, De Lima, and this representation, we wish to inform the body that it is our desire for Senator Frank Merlon to retain his position as our leader in the minority. The depth
and breadth of his Senate experience has been invaluable, not only for the minority, but also for the majority. Mr. President, Senator Vilon has done an excellent job as our leader in the previous Congress, and we wish for him to remain as such. For the record, Mr. President, the minority would like put on record that we have selected Senator Franklin Vilon as our minority leader. And in the end, as a world leader once said, Mr. President, allow me to place on record, this world leader, John F. Kennedy, once said, without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. And I cannot think of anyone else in the minority who can ably lead us in conspiring for better legislation than Senator Franklin.
Indeed, we would like to associate myself with the manifestation made by Senator Francis Franklin with regards to the minority leader, Senator Franklin. Therefore, we now formally recognize and elect Senator Franklin Vilon as the Senate's minority leader for the 18th Congress.
Before Mr. President, let me recognize.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we proceed to the election of the Secretary of the Senate, I'd like to thank my colleagues, all the 24 senators that are here today, and all the people, especially my family, for supporting me in my role as Majority Floor Leader. I promise to be the pambansang MMDA. I'm not the leader, Mr. President. They tell me what to do. I'm their usan. And we'll be here 24/7 every session day to make sure that we will be able to pass all the necessary legislation to help this country move forward. And I'd like to put on record, Mr. President, that I'm honored to be working once again with the distinguished Minority Floor Leader, former DOJ Secretary, former Executive Secretary, former Senate President, former Majority Leader, now Minority Leader of this Senate. It's not a conspiracy of sorts, Mr. President. I learned a lot from the distinguished gentleman from Iloilo. Many of the laws that we passed have become better laws, Mr. President, improved versions because of our distinguished Minority Floor Leader. And I thank him for that. When it comes to the people's needs at hand, he steps up, Mr. President, and helps us pass legislation that the people need and deserve. So, Mr. President, and congratulations to the minority. Now we may proceed, Mr. President, with the election of the Senate Secretary, or the Secretary of the Senate.
Yes, any objection, being none, we will proceed with the election of the Senate Secretary. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the position of the Secretary of the Senate, I nominate Attorney Mayra Marie D. Villarica. Mr. President, I so
Attorney Mayra Marie Villarica is nominated. Any other nomination? Senator Franklin is recognized.
Mr. President, we join the majority in electing Attorney Villarica as Senate Secretary.
Thank you.
There are no other nominations aside from our distinguished Minority Floor Leader, Mr. President. I therefore move that the bill nomination be closed.
The nomination is hereby closed, hearing no objection. Pursuant to Rule 2 of the Rules of the Senate, there being no other candidate for the position of Senate Secretary, the voting shall be viva voce. Those voting for Attorney Mayra Marie Villarica, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, say nay. The ayes have it. Attorney Mayra Marie Villarica is hereby declared and proclaimed the Secretary of the Senate. Secretary Villarica to ascend to the rostrum and invite your colleagues or relatives.
Ang laki ng ulo. Bilog na bilog. Yun. Ayos.
Mario Malidio ng Bigalica.
Having been elected to the position of Senate of the Secretary, do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge, to the best of my ability, the duties of my present position, and of all others I may hereafter hold, under the Republic of the Philippines, that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the newly constituted authorities, and maintain true faith and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are now ready to proceed with the election of the new Sergeant at Arms, Mr. President. I move that we now proceed with the election.
Any objection? Hearing none, we proceed with the election of the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, before we proceed, we'd just like to put on record the distinguished service given to us by our former Sergeant at Arms, General Aladia. He will sorely be missed by this chamber. He occupied that seat over there on the left, the rostrum, and we're actually missing even as we speak today, Mr. President. He did a yeoman's job of protecting the Senate and its senators from any harm, and we wish him well in the next life, Mr. President. For the record. Mr. President, for the position of Sergeant at Arms of the Senate, I nominate Major General Edgardo Rene C. Samonte. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
There are no other nominations for the position, Mr. President, and therefore move that the nominations be closed.
Any objection? Hearing none, nominations is closed. Pursuant to the rules of the Senate, there being no other candidate for the position of Sergeant at Arms, the voting shall be viva voce. All those in favor, those voting for Major General Edgardo Rene Samonte, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Major General Edgardo Rene Samonte is hereby declared and proclaimed the Senate Sergeant at Arms.
I, Major General Edgardo Rene Samonte, having been elected to the position of Sergeant at Arms, do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge, to the best of my ability, the duties of my present position, and of all others I may hereinafter hold, under the Republic of the Philippines, that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees set with the constituted authorities, and maintain true faith and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have several resolutions to adopt. I move that we now consider proposed Senate Resolution number 1. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, no such moved.
Mr. President, we request the Secretary to read the title and text of the resolution.
Secretary will read the proposed Senate Resolution number 1.
Proposed Senate Resolution number 1, resolution informing the President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines. Resolved by the Senate that President Rodrigo Roa Duterte be informed that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines. Adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Senate proposed resolution number 1 is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed Senate Senate Resolution number 2.
Any objection? Being none, consideration is in order.
May we ask the Secretary to read the title?
Secretary will read the title and the text of the resolution.
Proposed Senate Resolution number 2 entitled Resolution Informing the House of Representatives that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines. Resolved by the Senate that the House of Representatives be informed that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 18th Congress of the Philippines.
I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 2.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Senate proposed resolution number 2 is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, I move that we consider House's concurrent resolution number 2. House concurrent resolution.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Consideration is in order.
We request the Secretary to read the resolution.
Secretary will read the resolution. Concurrent resolution number 0.
Concurrent resolution number 2, concurrent resolution providing for the Senate and the House of Representatives to hold a joint session to hear the message of the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate concurring that both Houses of Congress of the Republic of the Philippines hold a joint session on Monday, July 22, year 2019 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the session hall of the House of Representatives to hear the message of the President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the House concurrent resolution number 2.
Any objection? Hearing none. Concurrent resolution number 2 is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, I move that we consider Senate resolution, concurrent resolution number 1.
Any objection? There being none, consideration is adopted.
We ask the Secretary to read the title of the text of the resolution.
Frasco.
May buntag, Mr. Speaker. As representative of the 5th District of Cebu, home of the world-famous Titay Liloan Rosquillos, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Fuentebella.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 4th District of Camarines Sur, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gaite.
Ginoong Tagapangulo, bilang kinatawan ng bayan muna na nangakong hindi aatras, aking iboboto, abante. Congressman Benvenido, abante. Maraming salamat po.
Garbin.
Mr. Presiding Officer, ako Bicol votes for Benny Abante.
Garcia Jose Enrique.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 2nd District of Bataan, I vote for Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Garcia Pablo John.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 3rd District of the Province of Cebu, I am honored and I am proud to vote for an old friend and the new kind of leader that this House needs, Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Garcia Vincent.
I vote for Alan Cayetano.
Garin Janet.
Mr. Speaker, the Speaker in waiting, Congressman Alan Cayetano, is a very good friend of mine. At meron po akong isang kaibigan na nakasama ko noong nakaraang kongreso, but we were never one in our advocacy for reproductive health. Umatras siya noon, nanalo kami, kaya patuloy ko pong isinusulong. Umatras man siya, isinusulong pa rin po namin, Abante Pilipinas, Benny Abante for Speaker of the 18th Congress.
Garin Sharon.
Mr. Speaker, as representative of Ambisua Party List, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gasataya.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as representative of the Lone District of Bacolod City, ang boto ko po ay hindi dahil sa kaklase ko siya nung college, kundi dahil naniwala po ako sa kanyang kakayahan na maging speaker. My vote is for Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gatchalian.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 1st District of Valenzuela City, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gato.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the Lone District of Batanes, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Peron.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from AGA Party List, Agricultural Sector Alliance of the Philippines, vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Go Ed.
Bilang kinatawan po ng ikalawang distrito ng Isabela, masaya po akong iboto Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Go Mark.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from the Lone District of Baguio City votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gonzaga.
On behalf of the 2nd District of Compostela Valley, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gonzales Aurelio.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the 3rd District of Pampanga, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano for Speaker.
Gonzales Neftali. Gonzales Carlo.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of Marino Party List, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Goriseta.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 2nd District, Iloilo Province, I vote for Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Rico.
Sir, Presiding Officer, representing the 5th District of Pangasinan, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Gullias.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as representative of the 1st District of Cebu, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Guya.
Mr. Presiding, in behalf of the Recobuda Party List, Rural Electric Consumers, Beneficiaries of Development and Advancement, our vote is for Ben Abante.
Aresco.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 2nd District of Aklan, including Boracay, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ataman.
Sorry.
I vote for Congressman Cayetano.
Hernandez.
As a representative of the 2nd District of South Cotabato, I vote for Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Herrera D.
Mr. Presiding Officer, we need leadership, progress, and positive change. We need a speaker who can initiate innovations and reforms. Thus, Bagong Henerasyon Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Offer.
Maring Buntag, representing the 2nd District of Zamboanga, Sibugay, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Alosfos.
From the 1st District of Zamboanga del Norte, votes for Congressman Peter Alan Cayetano.
Javier.
I vote Alan Peter Cayetano.
Jimenez.
Buenos días a todos. Magandang umaga po. Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 1st District of Zamboanga City, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ko Elisa.
From the 2nd District of Masbate, including Masbate City, this representation votes for Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ko Wilton.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the 3rd District of Masbate votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Konghun.
Sir Presiding Officer, sa unang distrito ng Zambales, kasama ang Olongapo, Subic, Pasileao sa San Marcelino, ang boto ko po ay kay Alan Peter Cayetano.
Labat-labat.
This representation from the 2nd District of Zamboanga del Norte votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano, Mr. Speaker.
Lacson.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from Manila Teachers Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Lacson Noel.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the Long District of Malabon votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Lagban.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation casts a no vote.
Lagon.
Mayang buntag, Mr. Speaker. As a representative of ako Bisaya Party List, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano because we believe his leadership.
Lara.
Mr. Presiding Officer, makastang ang umatanitam namin, iboto na tersera distrito na Cagayan para kay Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Lazatin.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 1st District of Pampanga, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Liachon.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. This representation from the 1st District of Oriental Mindoro is voting for Alan Peter Cayetano for Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Legarda.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as representative of the Lone District of Antique, I respectfully cast my vote for a former colleague in the Senate, Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Lim.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representative of RAM Party List, Revolutionaryong Alyansang Makabansa, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Lim Kay Chong.
This representative from Negros Oriental 1st District casts her vote for Honorable Bienvenido Abante Jr.
Lopez Jose. Lopez Manuel.
Mr. Presiding Officer, magmula po sa magiting na bayan ng Tondo ay ginagawad namin ang aming boto sa kagalang-galang na si Alan Peter Cayetano.
Loyola.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representative from the District of Cavite votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Maceda.
Posped. Mula po sa ika-4 na distrito ng Maynila, ang representasyong ito ay bumoboto sa isang tao na matagal ko nakakilala Hindi lang kaklase, katabi pa. Pero ang higit sa lahat ay may angking galing at talino at kakayahan para mamuno bilang Speaker ng 18th Congress. Ang boto ko po ay para kay Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Madrona.
Mr. Presiding Officer, allow me first to acknowledge my provincial and municipal officials there who would want to witness my vote today. Romblon votes for Alan Peter Cayetano as Speaker.
Malapitan.
The 1st District of Caloocan votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Mangawang.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from the province of the Lone District of Kalinga, our vote is for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Mangudadatu.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Mr. Speaker, my vote goes to Alan Peter Cayetano.
Marcoleta.
Sagip Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Mariano Hernandez.
Mr. Presiding Officer, through this representation, the 2nd District of Laguna, which consists of Cabuyao, Los Baños, and Bae, votes for Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano. Thank you.
Marino.
Galing na ako doon. Malalaman ko naman ito.
Mr. Presiding Officer, alay simula nung nagsimula, kami Alan Cayetano.
Marquez.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of my constituents from the 1st District of Aklan, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Martinez.
The 2nd District of the City of Valenzuela votes for speakership of Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Matba.
Salamat, Mr. Speaker. My vote is for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Matugas.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from Siargao and Bocas Grande Island, 1st District of Surigao del Norte, votes for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Mendoza.
Mr. Presiding Officer, for the workers, the UCP for Cayetano.
Momo.
Construction Workers Solidarity will vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Natividad Naganyo.
Ginoong tagapamahala, sa ngalan po ng ika-4 na distrito ng Nueva Ecija, inihahalal po si Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano. Marami pong salamat.
Nava.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from the Lone District of Guimaras votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Nieto.
Mr. Presiding Officer, mula po sa 3rd Distrito ng Maynila, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Noel.
Maupay nga aga ha atong nga tanan, anwaray votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Nograles Jericho.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the PBA party list would vote for the distinguished gentleman who last served this House as a senior deputy minority leader of the 13th Congress, the honorable gentleman from the 1st District of Taguig Bateros, Alan Peter Cayetano.
Nograles Juan.
On behalf of the 2nd District of Rizal, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Nolasco.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 1st District of Cagayan, I hereby vote Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Nunez Malanyaon.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Owa Minal.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental, including the cities of Tanggob and Osamis, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Olivares.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as the representative of the 1st District of Parañaque, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ong Jose.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 2nd District of Northern Samar, I vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ong Ronnie.
Mr. Presiding Officer, ang Provinciano Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ortega.
First District of La Union votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Owano Dizon.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as a representative of the 6th District of Cebu, I cast my vote to Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pacquiao Alberto.
Mr. Speaker, as a representative of OFW Family Party List, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pacquiao Rogelio.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. As representative of the Lone District of Sarangani, I vote Alan Peter Cayetano.
Patiernos.
Mr. Speaker, I will vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Paduano.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation from Abang Lingkod Party List votes for Congressman Benny Abante. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Palma.
My vote is for the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pancho.
Alan Peter Cayetano.
Panotes.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of my constituents and for the good of the 2nd District of Camarines Norte, I vote for the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Peña.
Mula po sa unang distrito ng premyadong lungsod ng Makati, ang kinatawan pong ito ay para kay Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pichay.
Congressman Cayetano.
Pimentel.
Mr. Speaker, as representative of the 2nd District of the Province of Surigao del Sur, I vote for Representative Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pineda.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the second nominee of One Pacman Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Plaza.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as a representative of the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Puno.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 1st District of Antipolo, I cast my vote for the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Kimbo.
Mr. Speaker, paabantihin natin si Congressman Benny Abante.
Radaza.
From the Daon District of Lapu-Lapu, we cast our vote for Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ramirez Sato.
As a representative of the people of Occidental Mindoro, I cast my vote in favor of the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Ramos.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from the 2nd District of Sorsogon, we vote for Alan Peter Cayetano. Thank you.
Remulla.
The 7th District of Cavite votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Revilla.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of 2nd District of Cavite, representing Bacoor City of Bacoor, we vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Reyes.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the 3rd District of Quezon City votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Rivera.
Mr. Speaker, sa ngalan po ng Citizens Battle Against Corruption, SIBAC, ang boto po namin ay binibigay po namin kay Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Robes.
We have heard the President, sa ngalan po ng lungsod ng San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, kami po ay para kay Speaker Alan Cayetano.
Rodriguez.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the 2nd Congressional District of the City of Golden Friendship, the capital city of the great region of Northern Mindanao, votes for former Senator, former Secretary of Foreign Affairs, now our colleague
in the 18th Congress from the 1st District of Taguig, the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Roman.
Mr. Presiding Officer, sa ngalan ng mga taga-unang distrito ng Bataan, ang aking boto ay para kay Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Romero.
Mr. Speaker, in 1986, after the EDSA revolution, a schoolmate of mine at the De La Salle, Alabang, stood bravely and debated with the senators Jokno, Tanyada, and Aquino. We were 15 years old at that time. Alan, as he is fondly called, had my respect and admiration since then. I place my vote to a childhood friend of mine, Alan Peter Cayetano. Thank you.
Romualdez Ferdinand. The 1st District of Leyte votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano. Romualdez Yeda.
Maupay Gaaga, Mr. Presiding Officer, my vote is for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Romualdo.
Mr. Presiding Officer, our vote is for Representative Cayetano.
Romulo.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as the representative of the Lone District of Pasig City, we vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Roque.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 4th District of Bukidnon, my vote is for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Sakdalan.
First District of North Cotabato votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Sagarparia.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this representation votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Sakaluran. Salceda.
Alan.
Salimbangon.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 4th District of Cebu, I go for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Salo.
Mr. Presiding Officer, we need a speaker who has integrity, a clear vision for the country, and a holy fear of God. Thus, Kabayan Party List votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Sanchez.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from Long District of Catanduanes, I vote for Congressman Peter Alan Cayetano.
Sangkopan.
Mr. Presiding Officer, ang boto po ng amin anak Mindanao Party List ay para sa kagalang-galang Alan Peter Cayetano.
Santos Recto.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing 6th District, Lipa City, I vote for Congressman Peter Alan Cayetano.
Sarmiento.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. Good morning, everyone. He served well when he was a member of both chambers of Congress, Senate, and the Republic, and of course, the House of Representatives. He served well as well when he was a former secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs. The reason why this representation from the 1st District of Samar, including the cities of Calbayog and 9 municipalities, cast the vote for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano. Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Sa ulog.
Mr. Presiding Officer, as Kalinga Party List Representative, I vote for Congressman Benny Abante.
Sabeliano.
Apo Presiding Officer, kas mangibagi iti Primero Distrito ti Ilocos Sur, ti butusam nga para Speaker awan sa Bali no saan nga ni Apo Alan Peter Cayetano nga isu ti mangted iti namay diti Ilocanja. Diyos sige na po.
Siao.
Mr. Presiding Officer, before I cast my vote, I would like to acknowledge my constituents in the gallery as well as the people of Iligan City. The Lone District of Iligan supports Alan Peter Cayetano.
Silerio.
As representative of the 3rd District of Bulacan, I vote for my former colleague, Alan Peter Cayetano.
Singson.
I will have to follow the lead of our Speaker designate, Congressman Cayetano. Therefore, I vote for Benny Abante.
Singson Mihan.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Sinsuwat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Presiding Officer, as a representative of the 1st District of Maguindanao and Cotabato City, my vote is for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Swansea Estrelita.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the people of the 1st District of Nueva Ecija, my vote goes to the person with integrity, Representative Alan Peter Cayetano as Speaker.
Swansea Horacio.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 2nd District of Sultan Kudarat, this representation votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Suarez Aleta.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Suarez David.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 2nd District of Quezon Province, we vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Suntay.
Mr. Presiding Officer, in behalf of the people of the 4th District of Quezon City, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
C. Alvarado.
Mr. Presiding Officer, kalaki po ang pag-asa na mas mapapatulin ang mga proyekto na magdadala sa ating mga mahihirap patungo sa pangako ng mas magandang buhay. Ang unang distrito po ng Bulacan sa ngalan po ng inyong kinatawan, Kuya Jonathan C. Alvarado, ay nagtitiwala at bumoboto sa aking kaibigan, Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Taduran.
Sa ngalan po ng pagkakaisa at bilang pagkilala sa kakayahan at kasanayan ni Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano, ako po bilang kinatuwa ng ACT-CIS Party List ay bumuboto po kay Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Talyado.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of First District of Camarines Norte, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano. Thank you.
Tambunting.
Ako po bilang representante ng pangalawang distrito ng siyudad ng Parañaque ay bumoboto para kay Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tan Alisa.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the people of the 4th District of the Province of Isabela, I cast our vote in favor of Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano. And, Mr. Presiding Officer, may I respectfully request that my speech to explain my vote be included or inserted into the records. Thank you.
Tan Angelina.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tan Samir.
Representing the 1st District of Sulu Province, I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tan Shari.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for Benny Abante.
Tan Tambut.
Mr. Speaker, Kusog Tausog Party List votes for Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tejada.
Mr. Presiding Officer, representing the 3rd Congressional District of the Province of Cotabato, votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Teves Arnolfo.
Abante.
Teves Jose.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the GP Party List votes for Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tiangco.
Mr. Presiding Officer, Novato City votes for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tolentino.
Mr. Presiding Officer, kung yung iba po ay umaabante, ito po ay hindi umaatras kay Cayetano. I vote for Alan Peter Cayetano.
Torres Gomez.
The 4th District of Leyte votes for the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
Tulfo.